has not changed for over 2 decades.
Michael, what are you doing, man?
Don't you think I'm ready to lead the company?
No, you're still in 2nd grade.
Am I ready now? Our dream has not changed for over 2 decades.
Michael, you have to run a cafe first. And that baldness comes from experience, not a wig. So we're gonna get you out of here. We gotta get back to work, okay, son? Thank you. Come here, I got a kiss. Wait, come back for your applause. You know, I don't get it. I told him, he isn't getting a district till he's 13. Anyway, so we got some work to do today. You know, we were all 8 years old once. And the truth is, we've all changed. We've all changed as the years have passed. As you saw, and as you see, in my case, it's the hair. Yup, that really was me at 8. And yes, I really did have hair once. But despite the outward changes, our core remains the same. Panera is like that. Our dream has not changed for 2 decades. This company was founded to create an experience that would engage people and build community. An experience in which the people, the food, and the environment would be the point of difference. And I know that this dream, which is my passion, is shared by so many of you. Let me remind you of the food industry that existed before Panera came into being. Fast food was where you took your kids for an easy meal. You weren't sure what was in the food, but at least it was fast and cheap. You didn't go there to hang out, but to get in and out. So is it any wonder that fast food left an entire generation simultaneously full and empty? You know, it was hardly any better on the other side of the counter. The food industry I grew up in treated its workers as no different than machinery used in the process. People were expendable objects bought at the lowest possible cost. Managers were not allowed to use their own judgment. Companies expected little of their people, and they got even less. The paper hats they wore were just the final insult. As someone who grew up as an operator in our industry, I just knew we could do better for our customers and better for our associates. I dreamed of an experience that would nourish and restore customers' bodies and their minds and their spirits. And I dreamed of an experience that would replenish associates' pride in their work and inspire them to put their personal best out on the table. Even 2 decades ago, we knew where we wanted to go. We could see it, we could feel it. So over a long weekend in 1994, we sat down at the Diversity Cafe in Chicago to commit our aspirations, our vision to paper, to paint with words the experience we hope to be, and to define a place on the horizon we wanted to sail towards. The document that we wrote then is today called Concept-Essence. A number of you were with us as we pushed and pulled on that vision. Ken Rosenthal, Rick Postal, Cup, Scott Davis, Tony Coleman, among many others. Do you guys remember, just think back, do you guys remember all the names we considered back then along with Panera? Remember Sienna's? Remember Panna? Remember Brumpy's? Just think, you all could have been working for Brumpy's Bread today. Think about that, huh? Some of the things we did were okay. Folks, 2 decades later, not only does Concept-Essence live in its original form, but our confidence in our original vision has only grown stronger. So what makes up Concept-Essence? Concept-Essence begins with artisan bread at the core of the experience. Bread is our platform and indeed the entry point to the Panera experience. Bread is the symbol of Panera quality and a reminder of Panera warmth that our customers can take home with them and share with friends and with family. What we're after isn't the processed food and instant goodness of Wonder Bread. We want to be about something deeper, something that harkens back to the days when bread making was a craft. You know, Concept-Essence calls for us to be a place customers can trust, a place that customers can enjoy food that they trust. That means building an entire menu with foods as authentic and wholesome as our artisan bread. In other words, real food. Concept Essence demands that we create an environment which engages people, that we spurn the fast food practice of bolting tables to the floor, and that we become an everyday oasis. Concept Essence also requires associates who engage, who explore, and who exceed expectations. Indeed, Concept Essence asks of us to restore what fast food has systematically destroyed, to bring warmth to a world that is growing increasingly cold. Concept Essence envisions associates as the ultimate point of difference in the customer experience. And Concept Essence calls upon us to create a different kind of business, one that succeeds by building loyalty rather than by simply squeezing the most money it can from customers. In sum, Concept Essence asks us to create a special place that people feel better about choosing. But folks, let me tell you what still amazes me. It blows me away, in fact. Concept Essence works. In the battle for the hearts and minds of consumers, Concept Essence won. Concept Essence is relevant, it is clearly a better vision, and customers respond. It isn't theory, it isn't wishful thinking, it's real. Listen to what one industry observer recently wrote. Quite simply, Panera revolutionized the food service industry. As the big three Burger King chains duked it out on the dollar menu end of the spectrum, Panera quietly eclipsed these industry leaders by focusing on the quality end of the spectrum. One could argue that Panera changed what food service was in the last decade. Just think about that. Wow, amazing. Concept Essence at its best promises something that customers can lust after, something that customers can trust, and something that customers can form a relationship with. And they have. 6 million customers visit Panera each week. I'd say that shows the power of Concept Essence. And when those 6 million people visit, they leave something behind. They leave dollars. Those dollars translate into record sales, into record profits, and they fuel our ability to grow. The result, almost 1,200 bakery cafes and sales of $2.5 billion, all built on an original vision called Concept Essence. You know, many of you were in meetings we held over the last several months to wrestle with Concept Essence and to determine its relevancy today. And many of you did that in meetings here in Charlotte on Sunday. I attended one of them. You've really put these words to the test. And you've come back and you've said it, and you've said it loud. Concept Essence is real. You've said Concept Essence works. And you've said Concept Essence is who we want to be. But you know something? We are not the only ones who understand the power of Concept Essence. Many others outside Panera get it too. We now have a slew of competitors going after our target customer and using our playbook to do so. You don't have to wonder if Concept Essence works. Just watch our competitors. Have you ever heard that old saying, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery? Well, I wish our competitors weren't flattering us so sincerely. As Neil told you, McDonald's now has salads that give ours a run for the money. And Wendy's is rolling out deli sandwiches served on artisan bread. Where did Wendy learn to bake? Certainly not with B.A. Baker in our baker training program. And I read last week that Wendy's new cranberry pecan chicken salad has a mix of romaine and iceberg lettuce chopped right in the restaurants with white meat chicken, mandarin oranges, diced cranberries, pecans, and a cherry balsamic vinaigrette. Did you ever think we'd see lettuce chopped in store at Wendy's while Panera is still reaching into the bag? Sounds to me like salads that are being served in Wendy's should have come from our test kitchen, not theirs. You know, we now have Burger King announcing they will shift towards humanely raised and slaughtered chicken. Did you ever think you'd see a BK with cage-free chicken? Can you imagine the bedlam that goes on now that they have live poultry running around the place? I can't imagine. And then there are the format knockoffs, Corner Bakery, Cozy, and a slew of locals. Each has taken our Concept Essence and is trying to build a business by out-Paneraing Panera. Here's an example. Just last week, Papa John himself, John Schnatter, told the Louisville Courier he has, quote, and I quote this, a new idea, unquote, Calistoga Bakery Cafe. And you know how he describes his new idea? As a better Panera. New idea? Where's he been hanging out for the last 20 years? Archie's Cafes in Louisville? I mean, come on. Oh, and then Schnatter went on to tell the press his concept will have much higher sales volume, much better food, and much better service than Panera's. Archie, I think he needs a good dose of Panera heat. What do you say? Yes. Okay, let's talk about a business that really is a threat. Have you heard who the #2 specialty food concept in America is after Panera? Whole Foods. Yes, Whole Foods. They sell $600 million in prepared foods annually, and their revenues are growing 20%. Most of their new stores include seating for 50 to 150 people. And of course, they're natural and organic like Panera. Folks, Whole Foods has outdoor cafes. Folks, they have bakeries like us. Folks, they have an experience that also builds lust, trust, and relationships. Think of it this way. Whole Foods represents a powerful challenge to us, a kind of solar-powered place of warmth. Folks, the world catches on and the world catches up. But what? What does all this imitation prove? Well, in my mind, when people try to be who we are, it's proof that concept essence is powerful. So here is the good news. Again, concept essence works. And here is the bad news. Everybody in the industry knows it, and they're all heading in our direction. This brings me to what I want to discuss today. If competitors are co-opting concept essence, how does Panera maintain its competitive advantage going forward? How do we do it? Over the last 25 years that I've been CEO, I've studied many other companies. I did so to understand how they stay in top in their industries and how they maintain competitive advantage. And one thing that I've learned is that every company that gets off the ground is created based on a better idea, bar none. Panera is a good example. The dream that we had 2 decades ago and the concept essence we wrote in 1994 fueled the creation of Panera as we know it today. Another thing I've learned along the way is that once a company gets off the ground, it's either going to get stronger or it's going to get weaker. Nothing in between. Some companies start off with a great idea and deliver that original idea better and better as they mature. They get stronger and stronger. They drive sustained success. Companies that have been getting stronger and stronger for many decades include Nordstrom, Procter & Gamble, and Toyota, among many others. Indeed, they are the ones that make us wonder, how high is up? And then there are the companies that start off with a great idea and somehow lose their way. They pioneer their industries only to be overtaken by other companies that learn to be better at executing the original vision. You can find this in our industry as well. Consider Ponderosa Steakhouse. I know a bunch of you came from that system. What was the original vision that drove Ponderosa's success? It was a good steak without the frills. And where is Ponderosa now? They've been eclipsed by Outback. So what is Outback's breakthrough vision? A good steak without the frills, the same as Ponderosa. But Outback delivered it better. That's why Outback is #1 and Ponderosa has been run off the range. The fact is, this happens more often than we think. Think about Bennigan's and think about Red Robin. I know a number of you came from the Bennigan system. One's shrinking and the other is growing. Who's got the hamburger of choice in our industry today? And here's another example for you, Burger King. Did you know Burger King was once ahead of McDonald's? Remember how Ponderosa, Bennigan's, and Burger King once dominated their segment of our industry? I mean, remember when they had distinctive food and service that people actually raved about? Remember what happened after the competition got better and they no longer were seen as special? They did not have the ability nor the will to deliver their vision. Instead, they took the easy way out. They optimized short-term, and they ultimately forfeited their long-term competitive advantage. They gave in to mediocrity, and they lost their reason for existence. Understand this, Ponderosa, Bennigan's, and Burger King had original ideas that were better, but they failed those ideas over time. They became emblematic of what might have been. What I have learned over the years is this. The birth of a company is dependent on having a better solution for customers. The life of a company, its ability to thrive long-term, is entirely dependent on how well it delivers that vision. In fact, I would argue that the greatest companies are those that actually improve their delivery of their core vision over time. Nordstrom is such a company. Over 100 years ago, a little shoe store called Nordstrom was founded on the notion that truly extraordinary customer service was a better basis to compete. Over the next century, Nordstrom evolved. One shoe store became many. Then the shoe stores began to carry clothing as well as shoes. Nordstrom expanded its product line. Eventually, it became a specialty department store. But one thing never changed: Nordstrom's commitment to extraordinary customer service. Even as regional department stores increasingly embraced cost-cutting and received instant applause from Wall Street, Nordstrom remained committed to its original vision of extraordinary service. Today, Nordstrom is the most successful and respected department store company in the country. And the customers just can't get enough of that storied Nordstrom experience. So what lessons can we take away from Nordstrom's success? How can we effectively steer our brand for long-term success in our industry? We've got to recognize our actions or inaction will determine whether we end up great, broken, or even worse, mediocre. You know, Jim Collins, the author of a best-selling book, examined the success of outstanding companies. And he wrote something, and I think it's just so powerful. Good is the enemy of great. To be good enough makes us feel safe today. But know that it comes at the cost of our future. Playing it safe in a competitive business translates into slow death. It's our greatest enemy. At Panera, we're playing for the decades, not the quarter. And if we're playing for the decades, then delivering concept essence is the only way to win. To have the company of our dreams, we've got to keep raising the game. So the question you've got to be asking is, how do we raise the game? Especially given the issues we face around Crispani and around lunch. Let's talk about Crispani. I know I couldn't come up here and not. Frankly, my greatest hope was that Crispani would blow this business wide open. But as Neil told you, the reality is this. Crispani is at the low end of the range of sales we projected, 2%. And as a result, some wonder, will Crispani go down as a lot of pain for very little gain? Let me share with you something. I'm disappointed in the results of Crispani. To say anything else wouldn't be straight. So it often helps to remind myself why I thought it was worth the effort in the first place. Crispani was born of a belief that our customers would appreciate having a Panera experience in the evening. As such, it represents an extraordinary opportunity to extend our bread credibility and our concept essence into yet another day part. And in our last reunion, we talked about how tough it would be to execute this program, how tough it would be to create a new day part, and how tough it would be to change our customers' behavior. In fact, as I said then, almost nobody in our industry has created a new day part successfully. Maybe only McDonald's with breakfast. But the fact that few have succeeded before shouldn't stop us from trying. We have a history of taking on difficult challenges. And the fact that we have met those challenges before speaks for itself. So, where do we stand with Crispani? Let me repeat what I said yesterday, what I've said to people all along. The good news with this program is that it's up and running. Thanks to your hard work, we now have a new day part evening. But remember, much of its potential is still untapped. We are presently selling on average about 100 Crispani per cafe per week. What that means is that we're getting the sales, but no profit. But if we get to 200 Crispani a week, the program will generate about $25,000 in extra profit per cafe per year. Think about this. If we can sell just 10 more Crispani a day, I'm not going for Dan's 5, I want 10. If we can sell 10 more Crispani a day, just 2 more an hour during the evening, we'll have a winner. Just think about how close we are. So how can we tap into the full potential of Crispani in the evening? You know, there's been a recent discussion on our PAN-UP board, and I do assume you're reading it, right? The PAN-UP board? There's been a recent discussion as to why markets such as Austin, Miami, the Bay Area, Los Angeles, Nashville, Long Island, Kansas City are able to generate Crispani sales of 150 to 200 Crispani units per cafe per week. It's a good question. What are they doing? Right? How do you think about these markets that we could call the Crispani stars? How do you think about them? Do you want to know what these Crispani stars are doing? It's not complicated. It turns out that what they're doing is not very complicated at all. They are committed to the Crispani program. They're staffing one or more skilled Crispani makers who can bake a great Crispani. And they are sampling like hell. That's it. Incremental progress isn't rocket science, but it does work. Truth told, I don't know where Crispani and evening will end up. I really don't. I don't think anybody does. But I do know this. To build long-term competitive advantage, we must have the courage to try new ideas. We must have the strength to test our original vision in new ways. Scott and Dan spoke with you yesterday about how we intend to evolve Crispani and our evening program. Just know that we will push forward in that effort with as much intensity as we can bring to bear. And know something else. Evening is a business worth going after. Yes, it requires vision. Yes, it requires commitment. And yes, it requires patience to achieve long-term success. But that is the hard work of evolving and building a great company. And I know you share my passion to get it done. Okay, I'm going to take a little more tea because we've got a very serious issue to discuss. I'd like to address lunch. As Neil shared with you yesterday, the real challenge in our business today is less that Crispani is not reaching its potential and more that lunch is on a downward slide. Folks, our lunch transactions are down 3 to 5% per cafe on average. This is big stuff. Our core day part is suffering, and it has been for several years. You may not have noticed the fall off at first because we propped up lunch sales by selling more high-priced products. But in Q2 of 2006, our lunch transaction problem caught up with us. The drop in lunch customers has me very concerned. So a team of us traveled the country and we visited cafes to study the problem. We conducted extensive research and we've talked to many of you. So I'm here to report what's going on. The more we learned, the more we came to believe that our strongest day part is exposing our weakest links. You know, Sandelman may tell us that we're the best out there when compared to our competitors, and we should celebrate this distinction. But as your customer in chief and as an old operator, I must share with you my experiences. And I imagine they will be consistent with your own. In spite of what Sandelman may tell us, our lunch customers are not feeling as much Panera warmth as they used to. How do I know? Very complicated. I use 3 tests that are very simple to personally evaluate our work. You won't believe how simple they are. The first is what I call the phone call test. At least 2 or 3 times a week, somebody who's met me or my wife or one of her sisters, they call me to share their experiences at Panera. For years, I've been looking forward to their calls, at least from everybody but the sisters, because I knew they would be calling to tell me how wonderful their experiences at Panera were going to be. But over the last 12 years, but over the last 12 months, I've begun to hear a hesitancy in the voices of the other people on the line. More and more people call to tell me what went wrong during their visit, especially at lunch. I hear about the length of the line. I hear about a rude associate. And I hear about a wrong order. Why do they think I can fix every one of their problems in almost 1,200 cafes? I don't know. But they call me anyways, especially the sisters. In fact, some days, I think the phone on my desk is the customer complaint hotline. You know, the second test I utilize is the one I administer with my own eyes. It's what I see. Remember, I go to hundreds of Paneras every year. Frankly, when I visit those Paneras, I'm not trying to judge which of you is doing what things right or wrong. Rather, I'm trying to see the pattern of how Team Panera is doing in delivering conservation for our customers and how we're doing in serving you. At too many of our cafes, I see lunch lines snaking out the door. This feels like success until you understand the reason why those lines are there. One or more of the registers in the cafe is not open. Does the frustration ease once you get to the front of the line? Unfortunately, no. When I walk into a cafe and think about ordering a latte, I cringe. Why? Because I know that the cashier will have to walk away to make the latte, and the people in the line behind me will be left hanging. In fact, sometimes I skip the latte. Who wants to slow the whole cafe line down just for a latte? You know, generally, I love our food. Our paninis are my favorite. But recently, I've seen way too many I don't want to eat. Too often, our paninis are a soggy mess, and they're not worth the money we charge. And so I've learned to avoid our paninis after 2 p.m. And the romaine lettuce, it's just not what it used to be. Maybe pre-cut lettuce wasn't such a good idea after all. Okay. I think our guys got it. What about the frustration? Help me along here, okay? I'm trying to give some message to a lot of people. What about the frustration of ordering one thing and getting another? I often hear our customers complain that their orders were prepared wrong. In fact, every time I see a takeout order go out the door, I wonder to myself, is it missing the chicken? Did they get the right side? And is the plasticware in the bag? Frankly, I've gotten to the point where before I leave a cafe, I get the associate to open my bag to check once more whether everything is there. And when a friend gets a takeout order, I just pray for the best. The last test I listened to is the gut check. Recently, I was on the road, and I had 15 minutes left before a meeting started. I almost couldn't believe myself when I said to the person driving, let's skip the Panera. I don't know if we're going to have time to get in and out. Frankly, it was a jarring experience for me when I chose to avoid Panera lunch. But the fact was that my excitement for our food wasn't enough to overcome the frustration that I frankly knew I would experience as a customer. The fact is, there are many more positive experiences than negative ones in a Panera today. But one of our cultural values is to tell the truth. So here is the truth. We are not always executing lunch as Concept Essence asks of us. We are not always executing lunch as the customer expects of us, and we are not always executing lunch as the competitive environment demands of us. So no wonder we're losing lunch transactions. Now I invite you to do your own gut check. Come along with me. Think about the cafe you manage or the one you visit most often. Get that cafe in your mind's eye. Come on, think about it. Here's the gut check question. Is the lunch issue in your cafe that you don't have enough customers from 11 to 2? Or is the lunch issue in your cafe that the hassles your customers face outweigh the benefits? Stated another way, it's not our customers who are abandoning us, but we who are abandoning them by generating too many hassles and not enough warmth. Simply put, we are not delivering the promise inherent in Concept Essence. The impact of this is deep and far-reaching. Let's be very clear. Customer frustration at lunch impacts our ability to drive competitive advantage well into the future. And it also directly creates pain for each of you right now. Let me explain. Last year, some of our cafes generated store profit that was flat to modestly down. Let's tell the truth. Flat to modestly down versus the prior year. Many in this room were impacted personally by the financial pressures that were the result last year. Many operators and franchisees felt the pain of taking home less. Bonuses were less. We all know that when store profits are flat to down, pressure starts to build and our confidence is weakened. So what do we do now? We all too often react by tightening our belts and pulling back on our long-term investments in people and competitive advantage when we feel financial pressure. But in my opinion, nothing could be more dangerous to our future. Our weakness at lunch and the resulting financial pressure creates pain for you. Worse, it poses a direct threat to the long-term health of our business. Our lunch problem causes a more visceral pain for our operators and our field personnel. We all know the job of a Panera manager isn't easy. You know it better than I. You have so many pressures. You have cafes that generate the highest sales volumes in the industry, and you do so in 4 day parts today. On top of that, we're asking you to build your VIA business. And we're considering drive-through. That's sure going to make it a lot easier, huh? You know, your boss has been leaning on you to deliver comps. Your boss has been leaning on you to eliminate waste. And your boss has been leaning on you to improve speed and accuracy. Your customers are asking to speak to the manager, and you know it's not to rave about the broccoli cheddar soup. And now we're asking you to build lust, trust, relationships, improve ease of use, and drive operational excellence. And if you didn't have enough on your plate already, you have even more. Sure, there are many people trying to help to build our sales, to support you with the tools and systems that will ease the pain. But you know, when you walk into that cafe, you're the one who will face the backed up lines and the upset customers. On your toughest days, it almost feels like it's enough to make you miss your old paper hat and your old polyester uniform. And how about those of you on the support and FDF teams? Right? You feeling the pain? You better bet. Our lunch problems impact you too. When others are feeling that pain, you get it right in the center. I know the expectations we put on you. Fix the menu boards. Redefine the service system. Launch the next iteration of Via Panera. Roll out drive-thru. Create a lustful product line and communicate the deal points. The list never seems to end. But that's not all. We're also asking you and the support teams to figure out how to evolve our concept itself in ways that make sense for the long term. Should we rethink the size of the restaurant? What kind of real estate does Panera work best in? And how do we get more credit for the integrity of our food? Folks, everybody is looking to you for the answers. Frankly, there just doesn't seem to be enough hours in the day to get all the work done and answer all the phone calls, let alone the emails. And then there's growth. We're all proud of the fact that we're almost 1,200 cafes and we're still growing. But growth consumes limited resources. And growth requires us to respond authentically to thousands more people every year. And with all that going on, growth can feel like another burden, not a gift. Well, what about me? And what about our leadership team? We're not immune. We feel the pain too. Just watch our faces when the comps come out every morning. Watch as the stock stays flat and the people who invest in us look foolish for believing in us. But mostly, there's knowing that the lunch problem and the resulting pain that you feel, all of you, has grown on our watch. Frankly, I am concerned for all of us. I'm concerned about how to bring us out of this lunch problem, and I'm concerned about our ability to generate Panera warmth when our lunch problem stands in the way. So what do we do? What do we do now? If you're a foolish optimist, you sit back and hope for the best. And if you're a foolish pessimist, you just give up because you figure the game is over. You move on to Chick-fil-A. But if you're a smart business person, you step back and you determine what really matters to solve the problem. You plan your work and you work your plan. So what is our plan? At its core, our plan is to more effectively deliver concept essence. This is where the circle of warmth comes into play. The circle of warmth is a new Panera term. Like we didn't have enough already, huh? Okay, it's a new one. We think it helps. It is meant to help us understand how we develop the tools to deliver concept essence. The speakers you've heard throughout the reunion have addressed the individual levers that make up the circle of warmth: lust, trust, relationships, ease of use, and operational excellence. Taken together, these levers help concept essence come alive, and they help us generate Panera warmth. And when we generate Panera warmth, our customers respond with Panera hugs. So how are we going to do this? We have 3 areas of focus in our plan. Our first area is to focus and quickly reduce customer frustration by improving our ease of use. You heard from Janet, Todd, and Hank what we must do and what we will do to fix the customer journey. Our success at lunch depends on this. Here are some additional initiatives I believe we must undertake to help reduce customer frustration. We must fix the way You Pick Two is priced and the way that pricing is communicated on our menu. In my judgment, help me give them the message. In my judgment, this is the worst case of bad profit in that cafe, and it must get cleaned up now. We must redefine our breakfast and lunch service systems so our cashiers aren't required to do any production. And we must consider banking our registers so it's easier for customers to know where to order. And we must be ready to examine some sacred cows in the interest of improving ease of use. We will take a hard look at the impact of Wi-Fi, a hard look at the impact of side choices, and a hard look at the impact of Via on lunch. And was that Santa Monica I heard? And we will test centralizing Via production outside a cafe this year. Our second area of focus is to drive an ever warmer Panera experience by delivering even better on lust, trust, and relationships. Earlier speakers have outlined our initiative in this area as well. I won't repeat them here as much as I know you would like me to. But I do want to emphasize several initiatives I think are particularly important. In addition to our Line and Lust product development efforts and our Magic of Bakery initiative bringing bread back to life, we are committed to improving our coffee program, our salad program, our panini process. Expect us to communicate our deal points and expect us to strengthen our in-cafe retail communications. And know that we will bring new focus to associate selection and customer relationship training. And it's not us, it's the collective we. The third and final area of focus is our customer. We will execute new efforts to introduce Panera to target customers. Stay tuned for the results of our concentrated marketing trials later this year. More important, we will work harder to please our best customers. Remember, all customers are not created equal. Your regulars are your best customers. Concept Essence resonates best with them, and when they feel Panera warmth, they give us back the most Panera hugs. How much? As you've heard, 16% of our customers give you 68% of your sales. When just a few of our regular customers decide the frustration isn't worth the experience Panera provides, you can expect to see your transactions fall off. Scott told you he doesn't have a fancy MBA, but I do. So I did the math on this and I was amazed. It turns out that if there's only 1 out of every 100, 1 out of 100 of these heavy users, if 1 out of 100 of these heavy users goes from being a promoter to being a detractor, our transactions are instantly down 4%. Imagine if 2 out of 100 go. You got an 8% fall off in customers. Folks, it's a thin line between greatness and mediocrity. And as you can see, as we've talked about, our plan isn't complex. Our 3 areas of focus simply call for us to execute the circle of warmth and deliver on our promise, the promise inherent in Concept Essence. So what do we need from you if we're going to get this done? What do we need? Let's begin with the support and FDF teams. Your job is to provide the systems, the tools, and the products that enable our operators to execute the circle of warmth. We need to be able to count on you to do this. Your success provides the basis for our operators' success. So let me ask you, are the things you are requesting from our ops and field people worth their effort? And will the things you're working on help the ops and field teams drive lust, trust, relationship, and ease of use in their cafes? Support and FDF teams, please know, Panera cannot win without your success. And to those of you in operations or on a field support team, here's my view. Ops is where the action is. You get to hire your own people, you get to train them, and you get to make your own decisions. That means the buck stops with you. You're accountable, you own it. We need to know that you will drive lust, that you will drive trust, you will drive relationships, you will drive ease of use and operational excellence to the next level. And we need to know that you will make Concept Essence come alive every day in your cafes. So how do you do this? How do you do it? It starts with the quality of your people. You need to take care of the good people like they've never been taken care of before. And you need to get rid of the bad people. And you need to plan your workday. Proper planning starts with proper deployment. You need to use your daily schedule not as a labor control device, but as a deployment tool. You've got to get lunch deployed right. I think we cheat lunch way too often. You got to schedule your expediter, and you got to get your registers open. And you need to recognize that structure and tools are your friends. They free you up to focus on other things. You know, there's more that I need to say to our operators. We hired you to be part of our dream and to make our vision come alive. Panera needs leaders in this effort. So ask yourself, am I the leader of my cafe or just the person who opens the cafe every day? To be a leader in your cafe, you must be the captain, the coach, the master of ceremonies, as well as the operations manager. Give your team a sense of mission. Give your team the joy of winning. Don't shirk that responsibility. Reach up and grab it. To that end, I would add this additional thought. You can fill your cafe with warmth and deliver Concept Essence just as we dreamed in 1994. Or you can run your cafe so that Concept Essence is no more than useless words on a card that corporate hands out at orientation. It's your choice, but it's our collective future that's at stake. Operators and field teams, you probably figured out I have a few questions for you as well. So here they are. Think about these. If you were a customer, would you drive past your competitors to get to your Panera? Do you manage your associates in your cafe to build lust, trust, relationships, and ease of use? And more importantly, how much warmth do your customers experience in your cafe? The answer to these questions should tell you exactly what you need to do when you get back home. Operators, we are counting on you. To our leadership team and our franchisees, I'd like to share some thoughts with you as well. You are the leaders of our company. You are ultimately responsible for guiding Panera's future. You cannot allow our past success to blind you to the changing realities of today and tomorrow. And you must be the people who keep Team Panera on course and true to the dream. Now a few questions for you as well. Are we building our business to truly deliver concept essence and create long-term competitive advantage in the world we will face tomorrow? Are we doing so while protecting our short-term credibility? And most importantly, are we earning the trust of those we lead? You know, this meeting in Charlotte did not happen by chance. It was not simply an invitation to a party. If that were the case, we'd still be in Vegas. But we sure had a hell of a night last night here in Charlotte, huh? We knew how to throw a party. You know, despite what BA told you, I made it through the rapids last night, and none of you lost any money. You know, who bet against me? You know, we hold these family reunions to see where we are going and to see where we are. We didn't come to Charlotte to debate how to do things a little cheaper, a little better, and a little faster. We came to Charlotte to confirm once again that we are headed in the right direction. We came to be part of something bigger. Even with all the individual talent in this room, we are better together, stronger together, and more powerful together. No individual has the answer, but when we work together as a committed whole, we are greater than the sum of our parts. In fact, a little later today, you'll experience what thousands of people with a shared goal, working as one, can accomplish. You'll discover that working together, we can do extraordinary things. Every great team exists for a purpose. At Panera, our purpose is to bring our dream to life. A dream we've held for more than 2 decades. A dream rooted in the desire to make a difference, to provide something real on both sides of the counter. Think about it. You experience this every day with your customers. It's the way their eyes dance when they take in the colors and energy of our cafe. It's the pleasure that your customer takes in recommending the golden raisin scone to his neighbor in line. It's the hum of warm conversation from the weekly book club meeting in the corner nook. It's the look of excitement on a regular customer's face when she gives her friend the grand tour of her Panera. And it's the appreciative glance from a regular customer when you put his sesame bagel and coffee mug on the tray as he walks in the door. And what about us? Think about your own experiences at Panera. The swell of pride we feel when we tell people where we work. The satisfaction of working in a place that gives its customers more than their money's worth, not less. The joy we feel when our children brag that their mom is the one who bakes the Cinnamon Crunch bagels at Panera. And the pleasure of working with people who are not only your colleagues, but also your friends. We make these experiences happen for our customers, and we make these experiences happen for ourselves every day. Folks, we have created the place of our dreams. I thank you for being a part of that dream, now and into the future. I thank you for what you've done for our customers, and I thank you for what you've done for each other. Long live the Panera dream. 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 Okay. Long live the Panera dream. Okay. Thank you. Okay, you're all standing, so this helps. This is a Shaich speech, so I haven't sung yet. We're going to need to sing. Okay? We need to honor Panera. We need to stay up. You're not getting down now. All right? I've got this all figured out. All right? We need to honor what started all of this. We need to honor what we love. Can I get the Leavening team up here? Can I get some of the FOMs, some of the guys that are going to join me? All right? We're going to now have an opportunity to sing one of our most beloved Panera songs, God Bless Our Sourdough. All right? You don't need your song books. You can watch the screen. So all the guys that are joining me, everybody up here, we got some mics. Everybody, come on. Guys, you're not going to get out of here until we sing this. So we're doing it together. We're going to let them hear it in Boston. We're going to let them hear it in Seattle. Hell, we're going to let them hear it in Shanghai, China. Where's Emmy? Come on, Emmy. Come on. Come here. Come on. Is she coming?
We missed the start, Ron. Let's start this over. We roll back to the beginning. Okay, let's hit it.
Let me have the mic, please. Let me have it, please.
Cut the music.
Cut the...
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Do you like getting up here? All right, who's going to lead it? Jim?
I'll take it. Where's it at?
One,
is it okay?
2, 3.
God bless our sourdough bread that we love.
Stand beside her, knead and bake her, through the night with the light from our soul. From the proofer to the oven, to the cases for retail sale. God bless our sourdough, in bread we trust. God bless our sourdough, in bread we trust.
Way to go, Jim.